reveals, new gameplay, new trailers, and Shadow Drop was revealed at the Xbox's partner preview. I hear you ask from the screen. Well, here is absolutely everything that you need to know. Let's start with the new trailers we saw for games that we were already pretty stoked about. We got a brand new look at the upcoming expansion to the mind-boggling, medium-bending, psychological horror sensation that is Alan Wake 2 with the Lake House. It's basically the next foray into the demented world of Control. Naturally, the trailer was pretty mysterious, but we can see that we play as FBC agent Estevez this time as she traverses the Lake House facility, where it seems something horrible has happened. Classic Alan. I especially do not like the way that guy just emerged from the wall. None of that, please. It looks like the Lake House promises to be as absolutely heartbreaking as it does adrenaline racing, with the game's composer Petri Alanko claiming that it had him doing big ugly snot crying the whole way through. We've all been there, Petri, it's okay. And if you want some of that for yourself, the new DLC will be out on Xbox consoles on October 22nd for those with deluxe editions of the game. We also saw some more of Like a Dragon Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii, and has a better combination of words ever been assembled in the history of the English language? I don't think so. The latest entry in Sega's series sees the lovable lunatic Goro Majima washing up on a remote island with no memory of how he got there. So, naturally, he decides to become a swashbuckling sea pirate. The trailer showed off the game's combat both naval and hand-to-hand, which takes the brawling of the classic Yakuza games and gives it some added pirate flair. It also gives us a look at some of the other seafaring scoundrels that you'll be crossing swords with. Oh, and it looks like you also get to customize and captain your very own pirate ship. It all looks totally ridiculous and totally great. And Like a Dragon Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii will be released on February 21st. We also got the scoop that Mouse PI for Hire is coming to Xbox consoles. The latest trailer shows that anyone who's a fan of how good Cuphead's visual style is definitely needs to keep an eye out for this one, as well as anyone else who fancies blasting bad guys with a cartoon shotgun. Inspired by classic 30s cartoons, this FPS puts the player in the tiny little shoes of a mouse detective who plies their trade in a city that's just swarming with corruption. It's up to you to bring some justice to this town, taking advantage of a generous arsenal of powerful weapons as you do, while also using your trusty camera to snap up any evidence that you find. After you do the shooting, of course. Anyway, the big news is that when it arrives sometime next year, Mouse PI for Hire will be coming to both PC and Xbox Series X and S. This is the game I'm most hyped for. I mean, you play as a mouse detective. The partner preview also showed off some more Eternal Strands, a third-person action RPG that is taking a game-changing approach to combat. As you fight to reclaim your homeland, you'll be using your magical abilities to hurl objects around and conjure streams of fire and ice. Okay, that's cool, but you've seen that before, right? But not like this, no. Heat spreads, cold chills, and everything in the game reacts in a dynamic and immersive way while you cause magical mayhem. Eternal Strands looks like a truly fantastic bit of fantasy, and this will be out early next year when it comes day one to Game Pass Ultimate and PC Game Pass. Speaking of Day 1 Game Pass, we also got a fresh look at Wheel World, the game formerly known as Ghost Bike, as it sped past to make another important delivery. A bit like Spiritfarer working at a higher gear, this quirky semi-open world game has a player trying to revive the last of the Ghost Bikes, mystical vehicles that can travel between the land of the living and the world of the dead. The new trailer gave us a look at some of the different ways that you'll be able to customize your bike, plus a taste of the original soundtrack from indie label Italians Do It Better. And from the sound of this infectious tune, they really do. Wheel World will be pedaling its way onto Xbox Series X and S and PC sometime next year when it will be a Day 1 Game Pass Ultimate release. If I had £1 for every game we saw at the show featuring an amnesiac pirate warrior, I'd have £2, which isn't a lot, but it is weird that it's happened twice. WuTang Fallen was the second swashbuckling adventure on show, and it's a much darker affair this time. We're in for hardcore action RPG territory here, with crunching, skill-based combat, terrifying enemies, and a broody, dark fantasy setting. The new trailer gave us a look at some of the elemental powers that we'll get to use, coating your weapon in fire and lightning, as well as the finishing moves that you can pull off, and yeah, that would definitely finish me. WuTang Fallen is on its way to Xbox Series X and S and PC next year, and it will be yet another delicious Day 1 addition to PC Game Pass and Game Pass Ultimate. Good times all round. Phasmophobia is an absolute thrill ride of a horror game, and oh my gosh, it's in the room with you right now! Or at least it will be in just a few days' time on October 29th, when the award-winning title comes to Xbox Series X and S. This 4-player co-op adventure lets you and your bravest buds take on the role of paranormal investigators. There's a whole range of different haunted locations to explore, and a whole bunch of different ghosts to discover, each with their own distinctive personalities. And in some cases, distinctive is probably putting it nicely. Phasmophobia is already a bit of a streaming sensation, and if you've ever watched anyone play it or played it yourself, you'll know exactly how tense, frightening, and hilarious this game can be, especially when it uses speech recognition technology. It's truly scary. There's plenty more fish in the sea, and you'll get to meet some of them in Subnautica too. Although going by the look of this big guy, I don't know whether that's a good thing. The full reveal of the sequel to Subnautica and its chilly follow-up, Subnautica Below Zero, didn't give us too many details, but we do know that we'll be diving into an all-new underwater world that's as beautiful as it is terrifying. Most importantly, we find out that we'll get to take the plunge either alone or with friends in co-op in 2025 when Subnautica 2 comes straight to Game Pass Ultimate and PC Game Pass via Game Preview. Now, let's get into the show's brand new reveals, starting with Kronos The New Dawn. The trailer for this one was also of the eerie and mysterious type, starring a guy who could be Big Daddy's Big Daddy with his creepy diving suit getup and an extremely cool transformable weapon mounted on his wrist. This guy looks pretty formidable. Whether he's blasting his way through a crowd of hideous monsters or playing a nice game of chess with a charming old lady. We don't really know much more about Kronos The New Dawn, just that it will come to PC and Xbox Series X and S next year, and that we really want to play it. Next up, a new action-packed anime-style game was revealed called Eden's Zero. Based on the popular manga series, this third-person game sees a whole host of very excitable people doing battle in extremely spectacular ways. I couldn't quite tell you specifically why any of them are fighting, but they seem very passionate about it, and they're all dressed just fabulously. With a whole range of different characters to play as and magnificently over-the-top moves to pull off, Eden Zero will be coming to Xbox Series X and S and PC next year. Next up on the new reveal list was Mistfall Hunter. This third-person actioner takes place in a dark fantasy world full of lumbering undead soldiers, creepy twig men, porcupine wolves, and giant monsters whose antlers do things that antlers absolutely should not do. Fortunately, Mistfall Hunter also gives the player a whole bunch of fun ways to fight these nasty critters, wielding everything from swords and bows to giant hammers, and throwing some neat magic powers into the mix for good measure. It looks seriously fun, and it's coming to PC and Xbox Series X and S next year. The next newly revealed game features a dog who, to quote a very wise woman, is so fluffy, I'm gonna die. Legend of Baboo is a third-person adventure set in a magical realm filled where the forces of good and evil fight for control. It looks like it's up to you to make sure the good guys win, along with your glorious canine pal. I don't know if you can pet the dog, but you can ride the dog and go into battle with the dog and look at gorgeous stately portraits of the dog. So we're doing pretty well. Our final freshly revealed game was FBC Firebreak. This science fiction FPS focuses on three-person multiplayer co-op, developed by Remedy, the team behind Alan Wake and Control, and it's set in that same quirky universe. It has you and your team roaming around taking down hordes of enemies using a whole arsenal of weird and wonderful weapons. For example, how do you feel about a gun that shoots exploding garden gnomes? Asking for a friend. Of course, there are regular firearms in the mix too, as well as the odd wrench for when you need to get up close and personal. Whatever you feel like wielding, FBC Firebreak will be released in 2025, and Game Pass Ultimate and PC Game Pass members will be able to play it right from day one. Next, we heard about a surprise update on the mesmerizing Metroidvania Animal Well. If you're in the dark on this one, then you'll be in good company. The game takes place in a labyrinth world shrouded in darkness, as players light candles to gradually reveal more and more of the map. In fact, the more you explore, the more you'll find hidden in every corner of the game, from different ways to use items and manipulate the environment, to hidden puzzles buried inside seemingly innocuous details. It's stunning. Players are going to be plumbing the depths of Animal Well's secrets for years, and you can start right now since the game just hit Xbox Series X and S. Now, it's time to talk about that shadow drop, and they don't get much more shadowier than Blind Fire. This stylish FPS sees a bunch of folks in very chic sci-fi streetwear chasing each other around a near pitch black arena, trying to blast each other's brains out, which isn't very nice, but it does look great since the arena itself is a really cool blend of neon lights and deep dark shadows that promise to add a whole new challenge to firefights. Be a great place for a party if it wasn't for all that murdering. This really does put your wits to the test, as there's plenty of silhouettes and mannequins around to trick you into firing a shot and potentially giving away your position. But the best part of Blind Fire's reveal is the news that it's available right now in early access on both PC and Xbox Series X and S. So I'll see you in the lobby. Or maybe I won't, cause it's dark. What was your personal highlight from the show? Are you loving the look of one of the new games? They're all great, so which one? Hit the comments to let me know, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye!